There, everyone. Hey. Hope you guys are doing well. If you're new to me, hello and welcome. Welcome to the Hawk Hustle headquarters. My name is Jerisha Hawk. I'm a high-ticket sales coach, digital business consultant, and I help experts like you take the skills that you already have and turn them into a signature service that you can sell consistently. And as you guys are coming on, feel free to pop in the comments, say hey, let me know you're here, throw some hearts up on the screen. Today is going to be a really amazing discussion. So I highly recommend, getting your notebook out, getting ready, because we're going to be talking about some good stuff. Okay, so today's topic, or what I want us to talk about in this episode, is really knowing, for you to be able to answer the question, should you create a course or should you create a coaching program? And I think this is something that, especially in the online world, gets really muddled and confused. Everybody's like, go be a coach, go create a course. And without really actually breaking down the differences between what that means, and also making sure that you understand the full scope of what's required when you decide to embark on that from a business model or from a business model perspective. Okay. So if this is something that you think will be interested and helpful for you, keep listening, because I'm going to, per the usual, like I always do, give you guys the tea and really break down the full transparency of what's required for each of these offers. So I'm really curious to know, for those of you guys who are watching this live or even catching this in the replay, do you currently sell a course? If you had to say, which one is your business model predominantly? Do you coach or do you have a course? And if you just had to, again, you may have both, but if you think, what is the thing that you're known for? What is the thing that you sell most consistently? Do you sell a course or do you coach? Oh, thank you so much about the hair. Complete side note, while you guys are typing that in the comments, this is my first time ever getting a quick weave. Can you believe that? It looks like a blowout. But I'm going out of town tomorrow and I did not want to have to deal with my curls. So I've never had a quick weave a day in my life. I've always gotten, sew-ins in my early years and custom wigs in my later years. And I'm just I just want something fast and simple. And somebody's like, girl, why don't you get you a quick weave? I'm like, And then I did some research and I tried it and I absolutely love it. So, that's our topic for another day. But I'm seeing a good mixture of people who offer coaching and who offer courses. So, like I said, and if you have any questions or need clarification on anything that I'm about to share with you, pop that in the comments too as we're having this discussion, because I think what I'm going to share with you guys here is going to be highly valuable in a new perspective that you probably haven't heard before. So I think one thing that's important is when you start to go out there and package your offers, maybe you're already selling your services, I think it's really important for you to clearly articulate what it is that you actually do. And I think a lot of people can confuse. They're just like, well, I'm a coach, I have courses, I have a coaching program, without understanding the differences between each one of those different offers. So I'm going to first break down the difference between a course and a coaching program. And then I'm going to break down the difference between one-on-one versus a group offer. Okay. So when you create a course, and this is my perspective based off of what my experience has been over the last 3 or 4 years in the online industry, of all the courses I have paid for in my day. But typically courses are more of a DIY experience or a DIY setup. And what I mean by that is when you create a course, 9 times out of 10, your client, the student, the person who purchased the course is going through the experience they're doing it themselves. Okay. They're on their own. The course is set up where they watch the training videos on their own. There's no, that's really it. They learn at their own pace. It is on demand, kind of like Netflix. They turn it on when they want to, they watch when they want to, they go through it when they want to. So most courses are a DIY experience for your consumer, for your buyer. Okay. That's one thing that you need to understand. Typically when you sell a course, or most courses out there, you have very limited access to the creator. And give me feedback too, for any of you guys who ever purchased a course versus hired a coach, or been in a coaching program. Have you ever been in a course where you really didn't have access to the creator? It was a DIY experience. And, typically if you're creating a course, there's limited access to the creator. because it's a DIY program. There's video training modules. Your client goes through it at their own pace. There really isn't much, or if any, feedback or touch point with the person who created the program in itself. There's very little to no coaching included in a course. I've been in courses where there was a Facebook community, but like the creator never showed up and answered questions. Quite honestly, the Facebook group was like dead. Or any community space they built really wasn't active. It really wasn't engaged. It was just kind of quite honestly, just a void of a space, even if it had a space. But most courses have very limited access to the creator, and there's little to no coaching provided from either the creator of the program or from the staff. There's no dedicated coach typically inside of that community. Even if there is a community, a lot of courses don't have community. Like I said, you see course creators now trying to throw together a Facebook group, but then there's no one there facilitating the conversation, and they're answering coaching questions or helping coach people through the content. Really, there's, it's on the client to hold themselves accountable. I think that's probably another key factor in courses is, like I said, it's a DIY experience. It's do it yourself. So it's the accountability is on the person who paid for it to hold themselves accountable through that experience. And typically courses come at a low price tag offer. And something I think is important for you to think about if you're the one trying to decide as the business owner, as the CEO, where, okay, what should I build? You really need to think about, okay, what is the actual offer and what does this mean? Most courses, like I said, it's a DIY experience. There's limited access to the creator. There's little to no coaching, meaning that their video modules teach you the content, but there's nobody there to help you implement, give you feedback, offer you suggestions on how to pivot. There's really no dedicated space for Q&A to take place, which is what I consider coaching. And there is really it's on the client to hold themselves accountable to complete the program. And because your course is at, does that make sense? That's typically what a course is set up. And what I mean low price ticket, most courses that are set up in this way are less than $1,500. Less than $1,500, less than $2,000, but I really say less than $1,500 on average. I have bought a course that was $2,000, but the setup was like this. There was no access to the creator. There was no coaching. But that's only, I think, because that individual who created that course had been in their business for more than 15 years. Pretty much everybody on here knows this individual. So they have a lot of clout and a lot of stature behind their name and their brand where they can kind of demand that price point without offering that level of support. But that's typically what you can expect when you're creating a course and what you can expect that you would be, kind of expected from the consumer to deliver with a course. So that's something for you to think about as a creator. If you're somebody thinking about buying a course, and you enrolling in a course, it's really important to realize, do not buy a $300 course expecting to get, the level of support that would be provided in a $3,000 program. Because a course is do it yourself. You go at your own pace. You have to hold yourself accountable to going through that program. There is no coaching. There typically is very little, if any at all, support. It's on you to do it. So does that make sense? Did that make sense, guys, on what a course actually is? That's based off of all the courses I've bought, courses I've actually created, and just kind of where the industry is where the industry is in 2019, 2020. Now, the difference between a course and a coaching program, most coaching programs are done with you. Meaning that there is some sort of hybrid component. And I think a lot of individuals now are creating courses that are actually coaching programs, but they just have structured curriculum. So typically, if you go through a DIY course, there's a set of curriculum, but there's no teacher, there's no classroom, there's no office hours, there's no outside support. But in a coaching program, typically there should be a framework, meaning there's some set of curriculum, which would typically be somebody's course. But then there's a component where there's a coach or there's support to help do the work with you as you're going through the program, meaning they're there to offer you feedback, help you implement, help you apply what it is that you're learning in those training videos or those worksheets. So coaching programs are more of a done with you type of experience. where there is curriculum, meaning there's pre-recorded videos or live videos that are teaching the actual material. And then there's an opportunity for coaching to take place, whether that's in a one-on-one environment, live events, Q&A calls, a Facebook group where people like were the course creator or there's a coach in there to actually help you implement and get clear, get unstuck, help you move forward. So that's what I mean by done with you type of experience. Typically in coaching programs, you have access to the creator or a support team that has been hired, trained to support you with implementing what it is that you learned. Okay, so coaching programs done with you, you typically have access to the creator in some capacity, or you have access to their support team or a combination of both. And typically their support team has been hired, has been paid, and has been trained to support you on implementing what you're learning in the curriculum. Typically in a coaching program, there's multiple layers of coaching and support offered, meaning that there might be a Q&A call every month. There might be an in-person experience a few times a year. There might be, we're known for our Facebook community inside of Services That Sell, which is a hybrid program that's a course of coaching and community, but at a different tier level. But I'm in that Facebook group every day, if not multiple times a day throughout the week. So typically in coaching program, there's multiple layers of coaching and support, whether that's through email, a forum, online community, coaching calls, in-person events, that type of thing. And really that coaching and that support, there is someone available to help you get clear and help you get unstuck, help you to answer your questions, offer clarification, help you to apply what you learned in the training material to your actual situation. Because one thing that's important for all of us to remember is when we're coaches, it's not our responsibility. We're teaching a strategy. We're walking people through a proven process. We're walking people through a framework or a methodology. But then the coaching comes into places where we try to bridge that gap on helping them. Okay, this is the information I'm learned. How do I apply this to my situation? And that's where coaching helps bridge that gap. Versus in a course, there's typically no coaching to help you bridge that gap. It is on the student to bridge that gap for themselves. In a coaching program, they want to help you not just learn the content, but support you with implementing it and getting results from it. And I think probably that is the biggest difference between a coaching program and a course. A lot of courses, I think, are really designed, and this is why, again, their price tags typically reflect this. It's designed to help you learn a new concept. But I think coaching programs are really designed to help you learn a new concept, but then to implement it and to get results from it. And I think that's really where the two huge differences between a course and a coaching program. And I do believe that our industry is evolving and is changing. And I think the consumer nowadays, many of us have bought in courses before. We've hired coaches before. We're not new on the block when it comes to investing in ourselves and investing in these alternative education vehicles that exist today. But I think people's expectations are getting higher. Many of us, probably you included, have bought a course and bought in too many courses and didn't get results from it. And I think we're realizing that self-accountability is great, but when you're building a business, embarking on a new venture, trying to break through a new revenue goal that you've never broken through before, going at that alone and trying to hold yourself accountable and bridge that gap between, okay, I'm learning the concept to being able to apply that concept to my unique situation, there's a gap. And many of us, and I think, and this is something I'm noticing even with my own students and noticing in our industry, is people are no longer wanting to settle just for this DIY course experience. People are ready and willing to invest in these higher level coaching programs that offer this higher level of support. Because again, these coaching programs are designed for you to learn a new concept, to learn a new strategy, but it's also designed to help you implement what you're learning and get results from it. And so does that make sense? The real difference between a course and a coaching program. And I think it's important for you to realize, you maybe already have a coaching program and you're trying to treat it like a course. Or maybe you have a course right now and you've actually been treating it like a coaching program. And one thing I think is important for you to think about as the CEO, as the creator, as you're kind of doing some evaluation on how you want to continue to position your offer is, part of how you name it and what you call it will impact how people receive it from a positioning perspective. And what I mean by that is if you're like, oh, I sell this course, it teaches you how to make 6 figures. It's like, people aren't going to even believe that claim, because it's like, how are you going to teach me how to make 6 figures in some DIY course? It's not possible. And I think people okay, I know how to do it. I need help actually doing the doing. I need support actually implementing what it is you're telling me to do. I don't need to know how to do it anymore. I've been known how to do it. I need help actually doing the doing. I need help implementing. I need help tweaking. I need help pivoting. I need help, throughout the entire process. And that's where a coaching program really comes into play. And I think it's important for you guys to think about too, should you create a course or should you create a coaching program, is what type of operational backend do you need to have in place to consistently sell this program, to consistently convert clients into this program, and to consistently deliver at a high level of customer experience where your clients are getting results from the content or the curriculum that you're producing. And it's really okay, how am I attracting clients? How am I converting clients? And how am I serving and delivering? How am I serving those clients once they get in? And how you build your business model and set up your operational backend will greatly depend which option you go down, whether you build a course or whether you build a coaching program. It will require different things of you and of your business on the back end from an operational perspective. And whether or not you choose to build a course or choose to build a coaching program, that will also dictate the price point at which your offer needs to be at, which is another video for another day. But typically courses are lower ticket offers. They're typically less than $1,000. Most coaching programs are $2,000 and above. And this is primarily because of, the resources that are required to be able to support students with that delivery, and also to support students with achieving the promise of the program. So yeah, that is the difference between the two. And I really hope understanding the difference between those two helps you decide which one you should be focused on creating. I think we've talked, and I have talked about this in other episodes about, okay, are you ready to build a course? One thing about building a course is you need to have a curriculum. And if you do not have a proven process to get clients results, meaning there is a structured, non-customized, step-by-step framework that you take a client through and it will produce results time and time again, you are not ready to build a course. Because all a course is curriculum, is a proven, is a step-by-step framework. And if you do not have a step-by-step framework created, you don't have a course. So I think that's something that's really important too, is I think a lot of us aspire to build courses. And I just think it's really important for how can you generate revenue while you're building your framework in the beginning? And how can you get your curriculum down to the point where for a fact if this type of client comes in at the top of the funnel, they'll go out at the end of your course, and that you'll be able to produce results like clockwork. And that's really what a course is. I look at a course like an assembly line. There's an input, they go through a series of steps, and there's an output, and that's consistent time and time again. But until you have that proven framework, I really believe that coaching is such a powerful way for you to generate revenue, for you to make money, and for you to develop your proven process without having to invest, a ton of money, time, and energy building out this course. So those are the differences. I really hope that helps you start to think from a different perspective than even what we've talked about on here before, or maybe what you've considered when it comes to creating a course or creating a coaching program. It's, do you want to offer support to your clients? Do you want to actually coach them and help them implement what it is that you're teaching? Do you those are things that you need to consider and make a decision on. I do know some people who are like, no, I do not want to coach anybody. I want to just teach them this content and they do with it on their own will. That is fine. But I know most of you listening to this, you care, the reason why you started your business is because you wanted to help people get results. And you knew that you had a skill set that would be valuable for other people. And that's why you're in this world, and probably be a huge reason why you listen to me. or even listening to this episode today is because you care about getting your clients results. You don't just care about selling them and making money, but you care about making money because you know you're providing value. And providing value is really creating a seamless process for your clients to actually get results from what it is that you're teaching. And that's really what coaching programs are. Most coaching programs, like I said, are a hybrid experience where there is like the best coaching programs. So this is kind of a tangent, but I'll drop this little gem in here for you. The best coaching programs have curriculum, meaning that there is a framework, a proven process, a step-by-step, roadmap for a client to go through to get the result that is promised during that sales call. So there is a course, meaning that there is structured curriculum in the program. So the best coaching programs have structured curriculum, have coaching, meaning there are touch points with the creator or for somebody on their team. And there's different ways that you can automate the delivery of these things, but these things exist within the offer. And there's community, like that. They are not the only ones going down this journey on their own. They have peers that they can learn from, peers that can now become their new business besties, peers that can support them along the journey as they're all kind of going out to achieve this specific results. Those are the best coaching programs that I personally have purchased and that I produce. That's also the best environment that I've seen my clients get the consistent results, is when all three of those things exist. And that's something for you to build up to, right? I do not believe you should come out of the gate ground zero trying to do all three of those things if you don't already have a proven process. If you have a proven process, you can go to a group coaching program. But if you don't have a proven process, I would start one-on-one and evolve that into a group coaching program versus going to building some DIY course that I'm just not a fan of DIY courses. They've never worked for me. The few that I've created in my younger years in business did not work for my clients. I'm just not a fan of DIY courses, but I think that's also because I solve a bigger problem. I promise a bigger outcome than what can be delivered in a DIY self-accountability type of program. So, like I said, I hope this helped you determine or think through whether or not you should be focused on creating a course or be focused on creating a coaching program, just based on what your preferences are. Tracy said such an important distinction between courses and programs. Thank you. And I do have some time to answer any questions. So if you guys have any, we can do a quick Q&A here too, to kind of offer some clarity or dive into this stuff a little bit deeper. Because I don't know about you guys. Do you ever hear anybody talk about this stuff? I feel like people don't. And I don't follow a lot of people in the industry that much anymore either, but I feel like when I'm going out there doing my market research, I just feel like everybody's like, build a course, create this DIY type of thing for your business, create passive income, but they don't really talk about, okay, this is what's required to sustain that. And this is what this actually ever really looks like. So I'm like, let me give y'all the tea, because y'all know how we do it around here at Hawk Hustle headquarters. We tell y'all the stuff don't nobody else be talking about. And people are like, no, I've never heard this. It's the first time. Yeah. Mallory said, what is the difference between a packaged and productive service? A productized service? I think that's just marketing jargon, to be quite honest. When people are like, oh, create a packaged offer or productize your service, it's just marketing jargon. When people are saying create a productized service, they're telling you to create a course, because your one-on-one service is now turning into a product, a DIY program. And a packaged service just means, I would assume that it's not customized anymore. I look at a packaged service as something like it is, and this is something, if you have a coach pitching you this, promising you these things, they should be able to answer this question. And they should be able to explain it in layman's terms where you will understand what they mean. Don't be fooled by these fancy marketing jargon lingo because it sounds sexy. If somebody can't simplify it and make it clear in regards to, okay, well, what am I actually buying? What is the actual outcome of this going to be? Don't buy that thing. But I think a packaged service just means that there's not a customized way in which you deliver it. Like there's a packaged offer, like it's the same thing every single time. There's a custom, like there's no customization on the back end in regards to how you deliver the service. And productized, I just imagine that person just means turn your service into a product. Because you can turn your service into a physical book. You can turn your service into a live event. You can turn your service into a DIY course. Like you can repackage your intellectual property and deliver it in a multitude of ways. This is why I think one-on-one coaching is so powerful, because really when you can nail down your proven process to get a result, you can package that in any way that you want and deliver it in any way that you want. Once you have a proven process. And working with one-on-one clients is, I think, the best way, the most profitable way for you to figure out what that proven process is. But once you know your proven process, that's really the asset in your business. And once you have that asset, you can choose, okay, how do I want to deliver this asset? Do I want to do it one-on-one? Do I want to deliver this asset in a group environment? Do I want to deliver this asset in a DIY course? Do I want to deliver this asset in a live weekend workshop? Do I want to deliver this asset in a mastermind? Like you can choose the vehicle in which it is delivered, but you need to have the asset first. So I think that's really, really important. I guess a distinction when you ask that question. Let me know if that helped. Just throw some hearts up on the screen if that helped. Yema, I think her name is Yema Logan, said, have you read Choose, where he tells you the type of business you should be based on your personality? I have not. What type was to build a course, because I'm slightly introverted. So I think one thing that's important, I think regardless of, because most of my audience is introverted. I think your personality is a factor and something for you to keep into consideration when it comes to how you're going to show up in your business. And how you would choose to sell. But I think regardless, if you decide that you want to be a coach or that you want to teach, you are also signing up for the obligation that you have to show up in your business. Being introverted does not mean that you are afraid to speak. Being introverted, like it may be uncomfortable for you, like that very well may be the case. Like you may only have so much that you can give in one time, and then you need to kind of go introvert and recharge. But I think it's really important that if you're building a business you're building a business online, it's a non-negotiable. Like you have to be visible. It doesn't mean that you got to tell all your business. It doesn't mean that you got to give away your life secrets and be, crazy levels of vulnerability. But if you're a coach or a teacher or somebody creating, like if you're a personal brand, which regardless if your business name is your name or your business name is something else that you made up, all of us here, until we get to a certain clout level, people are buying our programs partly because of who you are and how you show up, and people resonate with you and want to learn from you. So I just think that regardless if you're introverted or not, which I'd say like 90% of my audience, 90% of my clients are introverts. I feel like I'm an extrovert at heart. I get charged up when I'm around other people. But when I do that too often, I need to go introvert. Like I need to go recharge and kind of unplug and disconnect. But I just think when you're thinking about your business model, I think you really have to take into consideration, like what is the thing that will help my clients get results? And I think that's just a personal choice, but I don't know. I think that's a personal decision you have to make, but I know plenty of introverts. Most of my 7-figure, like people I'm in masterminds with who are making 7 figures plus a year, they're all introverted, like extreme introverts. But they know, like they still have to show up in their business. They still have to sell. They still do live video. They still produce a podcast. Maybe they produce a podcast more so than doing as frequent live videos, or they write blog posts instead of doing as much live video. But it's still part of business. You have to show up. And if you are so I think that's something just to take into consideration as well. And then there's different vehicles and different formats in which you can deliver the content, but you still have to be visible in some capacity to be able to make it in this game. That's just my 2 cents. Like I said, it may be uncomfortable, but I mean, shoot, I'm extroverted and I still get uncomfortable at times doing sales and still get uncomfortable at times when I go on stage, like just because that doesn't matter. And a lot of the time I think the lack of confidence or the discomfort comes because you don't have a process to follow. You're not confident in your skill yet. And that's really where I think a lot of the time people revert in or kind of lack confidence, is because they haven't developed a skill to confidently do it. So there may be just a skill gap that you have to acquire for you to be able to go out there and do it at the level of which it's required for you to get the results that you want. Ashante said, what is the definition of proven when referring to a proven process? What I mean by a proven process means that this process gets the result that is promised, and I have proven it because multiple people have been through the process and gotten the same results. That's what I mean by a proven process. That's a very good question, by the way. But I think when you say I have a proven process, I mean that one, you have an actual process, meaning a step-by-step system that you take a client through to get a result, and it is proven because that step-by-step system has produced the result that you're promising on the other end. So I think that's really what I would define as a proven process. It's proven to get the promise that the process is walking somebody through to, there you go. You guys asked such good questions tonight. Good job, y'all. Mark said, how do you determine a subject for course building? See, this is why you probably shouldn't build a course out of the gate, but I'm joking, but I'm not. I think again, I'm not a fan of creating a course first, because the first thing you need to learn how to do is create the process. Once you have a proven process, then that can be packaged and delivered in a course format. But until you actually have the curriculum and have a process and these are the steps that a client needs to go through to get a result. Personally, this is, again, just my opinion based on my experience, based on what's been successful for me and for my clients in my time in business. The better question for you to ask is, what is an offer that you can produce based off the skills that you already have? And you have to get people try to rush the gun. And this is something that I want you guys to be equipped with. So when you guys are thinking about making investments in other coaches or other courses, you can ask better questions. And when it comes time for you to create offers in your business, you can think more strategically and understand, okay, I know this is where I want to get to, but what's the building block that will position me to get there? And before you can make a course, you need to have an offer. What's the promise that you can deliver? And whatever promise you can deliver is the topic of the course that you should create, or the coaching program you should create, depending on which avenue you want to go down. But if you don't have an offer yet, meaning there's a promise that you can deliver for a specific person, and you have a process that bridges that gap to get them from where they are to that promise on the end, do not make a course. I would highly recommend that you work with clients one-on-one, high touch point, high ticket, because you'll still be able to get paid while you're still figuring that out, right? I think I tell my clients all the time, working one-on-one gives you the flexibility to not know everything and to not have everything perfect before you launch. The thing that breaks my heart more than anything else is people who are sitting on their skills because they don't think that they're launch ready. Meaning they're like, well, all this stuff isn't perfect yet, so I can't go out there and launch. And I'm telling you, that's complete BS. If you need to be confident in, okay, I know what promise I'm going to deliver based on the skills that I already have in me. I don't have to go get another certification. I don't have to go get another degree. Y'all on here, 25, 30, 35, 42, 55, 63 years old. Y'all have acquired skills today. You've had jobs that have paid you for the skills that you already have. You have a level of expertise in something. You know how to produce a result for something. So it's but you may not yet know the process, the step-by-step curriculum that you would take a client through to get that result, which is okay. But when you work with clients one-on-one, you have the flexibility to kind of co-create that process with that client. You kind of have the flexibility to say, okay, these are the 6 steps that I know a client needs to go through. I don't necessarily know what order in which it can go in, but as you're working with a client one-on-one, you can move things around the first few times until you can nail down your process. But until you have a good offer, meaning that you know what promise you can deliver. It's like the POP method. Pick one person that you can deliver that promise for. Pick one problem, like what is the promise or the result that's going to be the outcome, and package one process. And typically I'd say this takes maybe 3 to 5 one-on-one clients to be able to kind of nail this down to a level of certainty to kind of build that proven process. It normally takes 3 to 5 clients on average for you to be able to do that. You know, the subject for your course depends on what promise you can deliver based off the skills that you already have. And building that curriculum, the simplest way to do it while making really good money doing it is doing it one-on-one. Hope that helped, Mark. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Yep. So thank you guys for tuning in today. I really do hope this was helpful. I love it when you guys, if this was helpful for you, it means the world to me that you just share it. You know, tag me on Instagram stories. I'll do a couple poses. Let me flip the hair over. Screenshot me. Yes. Okay. Let's go. Tag me on Instagram stories. If you're watching this on Facebook, share it on Facebook. If you're listening to this, you know, just share it with somebody that you think needs to hear it. That means the world to me. Like I said, I really hope this helped you guys start to think differently about, okay, these are just courses and coaching programs are just different delivery methods for my content. What kind of result do I want to help my clients get, and how do I want to support them getting there? And that really will dictate the type of delivery method that you package your offer in. So yeah, I hope this is helpful, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.